My particular area of expertise is personality testing, and I use a test called the MMPI. And the MMPI is a personality test. It's a long name, the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory. But the important point to this test is that it is a scientifically developed, well-validated test that's been around now for 50 years, and it's the most well-researched, the most scientifically widely used test in the world. The beauty of the MMPI is that it has a number of what we call validity scales to determine the validity of the test. And it's very hard to fake. And it's very hard for the respondent to present themselves in a particular light without alerting us to the fact that that's what they're trying to do. And what's impressive about angels is that they use this personality test for all their foster parents. And why is that important? It's important because the first 3 years of a child's life are critical to switching on their capacity to bond, to care, to form a relationship with another human being. And in those first 3 years, if that bond is disrupted or not developed, or somehow their basic trust is damaged by their caretakers, it actually ruins them for life, or at least it makes it extremely difficult for them to function as healthy adults. So having a personality test for foster parents that helps angels determine that these are basically healthy people who have the capacity to form a bond, who are not cruel, who are not so angry that they take out their anger on a child, is a critical part of the whole placement process. The research that is coming out of early infant studies is showing that those first 3 years are critical for the child to develop basic trust in the world, and that they need to have a caretaker that not only meets their needs when they cry, when they're hungry, when they're in pain, but also enjoys relating to them, looking at them. We now know that the infant, the newborn, has a remarkable capacity to see at about 12 inches, which is about the distance between a mother's eye and a baby's eye when the baby's being breastfed. So looking at the baby, relating to the baby, enjoying the baby is critical for the baby's development. As many people know, during the Second World War, when England was being bombed, the authorities evacuated all the children out of London to protect them from the bombing. And they were put in large, big orphanages, but they weren't orphans yet. They were just separated from their parents for safekeeping. And a number of these children began to die. And it was called anaclitic depression. And they realized that a baby that is not related to, that is not held, that is not looked at, can actually die. That human touch is critical to the early development of a child, and it has an effect for life if that early bonding process is not successfully activated. This is science. This is absolutely well studied and documented. There's a very famous study done with monkeys in which they took baby monkeys from their mother, and they did 3 different situations. In one situation, the brothers and sisters monkeys were kept in a cage together, separated from their mother, and they had a nipple through the wall whereby they could get milk. In another situation, they had one monkey on his own with a mother made of cloth with a nipple so the baby could get milk and also get some warmth from a cloth mother. And then they had a baby in a cage, raised in a cage, with a wire mother, just the wire and a nipple, but no cloth. The baby with a wire mother grew up to be unable, it was a female, unable to have children successfully. She was abusive to her children. She was violent, explosive, and an abusive mother when she had her own babies. And the moral of the story is that the baby with a cloth mother did almost as well as the babies who were kept together for comfort, one giving comfort to the other, the siblings. So the research shows that we need human touch to survive. We need human touch to develop the capacity to relate and to bond. We need to feel loved, and we need to have somebody warm and touching and loving to successfully develop the adult capacity to relate to others. I think what I find impressive about angels is not only do they show great diligence in choosing healthy parents, parents who have the capacity to really nurture a baby, but they also are very careful not to overload those parents and to make sure those parents only get one baby. They're not just trying to get as many babies to any family as possible. They're really careful to make sure that those parents have the capacity to take care of that baby and not overloaded. So I think that's the other real value added as a foster agency that angels provide, which is making sure that where those children go, not only is there love, but there's time and energy to give them what they need. I think that angels is such a critical service I think that angels provide such a critical service because it is at the very foundation of a human being's life that they intervene to give that person, that child, a chance. That once that child is damaged in those first 2-3 years of life, we know that they have more physical problems, they have more behavioral problems, they have more interpersonal and criminal problems. They go on to perhaps abuse their own children. That if you're going to put $1 towards some good, put it to a child's basic foundation at the beginning of life, where you can do the most good, rather than later when so much damage has already been done. And I think that the reason that supporting angels is so important is that it isn't just that you're helping that child have a chance in life, that you're not just helping that child have the ability to relate successfully to others, but you're helping a community, because every child that is damaged, every child that becomes angry or a criminal, really affects the wider community and affects you in the end, because affects all of us in the end, because of the devastating effects that one person can have if they go bad on a whole community.